What's up, people? Pushing While Black here, and today I am on the road at a favorite neighborhood bookstore here, and I actually have a guest today. First time on the blog that I have a guest, Kingsley Obach, and I've been a friend of his for many years, and he's working on a project that's going to benefit the disabled community greatly, we hope. So, Kingsley, why don't you tell them about yourself and the project that you're working on?
Yeah, hi, my name is Kingsley Obog. As he said, I live here in the Dallas area. I'm 33 years old. Basically, I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I have two degrees. I have one in criminal justice, a master's degree, and then I have one in sociology from the University of North Texas.
And that was your undergrad, right? The sociology degree?
Yes, sociology was my undergrad, and then the master's was in criminal justice. And so basically, I got my master's like 2010, and then I got my bachelor's in sociology like 2005. So after I finished, I just was out in the world and looking for some employment, and things were kind of rough, having some issues. So I decided to start what I call Moses Resource Center. And basically what Moses Resource Center is, it's going to be an employment service for people with disabilities that are struggling, trying to find work. Because what I found from my experience is that a lot of times we're going out there and we're looking for work, but for some reason we're just having a hard time. So I wanted to create something that could help foster, a better experience for them and make it easier for them to find gainful employment. So that's basically why I decided to start Moses Resource Center. And it's been around for about a year and a half now. Things are really sort of taking off, and I just wanted to sort of introduce myself and sort of get it out there and let people know.
So what makes this, don't we have organizations that already help us?
Yeah, we sort of have this one organization. I really don't want to mention them, but I guess I will. They're Department of Rehabilitative Services. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but it was this organization that was originally set up to help people with disabilities find employment. But sad to say, I've been with them for 14 years, and I still haven't been able to find gainful employment. A lot of the jobs that they've sent me out on have been like temporary jobs, not really in my field. And then I've had several counselors basically tell me, well, we can't place you because of your education, and the best we can get you is some temp work. And I just felt like, in a great country like this, we should all have the opportunity to, pursue our goals and get in the field that we want to. So I think that something's to be done about that. So that's why I'm trying to make a difference and make it easier for people with disabilities to be able to get out there and find gainful employment just like everybody else. Because my thing is, if you have a disability, it doesn't mean that, you can't be effective. You can't be a contributing member to society. We should all have that opportunity. And so that's what I want to do. And I hope that my vision is to make that possible for a lot of people.
Okay. So because my experience with Department of Rehabilitation Services has been, in my case, me being a graphic designer, I was told that they wouldn't be able to place me because of my career. So is that going to be something are you going to have a career-focused, you're going to have a career-focused services? Can anybody come in with any degree? How is the job placement situation gonna work out? How's that gonna?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna have a department that's totally focused on helping with education, basically looking at their background and what they want to do, and then if they need to, first of all, if they want to go back to school to get training, vocational training in an area. Let's say they want to do administrative or customer service, IT, or graphic design. I have a department that's specifically going to, meet with them, understand what their background is, what they're interested in. My company is going to help them, get the skills that they need. Like if they need to go to technical college and get a certificate, we'll sponsor that, but they have to meet certain requirements. to do that, and then also have like on-the-job training, because basically I'm hiring people that are going to go out, and like I'm meeting with employers, and then I have my specialists go out and then talk to those employers, find out what they're looking for, what they need, and then my specialists are going to be on the job with them, making sure that they have what they need to be successful, helping them, making sure that they get organization, their work environments organized and accessible for them, making sure good time management to help them be proficient in their job, and then most importantly, making sure that they get the accommodations that they need. So, yeah, most definitely, I'm looking to make sure that the disabled population, no matter what field or what interest they have, they're able to utilize their skills, abilities, and talents in that field. And that's going to be my main focus is people with disabilities, but also I'm looking to properly expand it to and cover, maybe single mothers, veterans with disabilities. So it's going to be inclusive, but more focused on people with disabilities. But I'm willing to help anybody that needs it.
Okay. Are there any other services that you're going to provide there?
In addition to that, it's going to be. I'm also thinking about doing debt management as well, because what I found also with jobs, and this is based a little bit on my experience too, is a lot of employers, before they try to hire people, they look at their financial situation. They run credit checks and everything to see if their credit is good, and how everything's looking, I guess, just for their background purposes. And I actually had one job where I was went in for an interview. They interviewed me. The interview went great, but then they did a background check, and they said, well, you have some student loans that, and who doesn't have student loans, right? And so they said I had some student loans, and because some of my student loans needed a little work, they decided not to hire me, which I thought was really just horrible. And so we're going to provide debt management to make sure that also that's not going to be a hindrance. Like if they got all the skills, if they got the ability, then if they do a background check, make sure that their debt management is in order, because good financial health is important. Not only for when you go on the job and they do a background check, but also just in general. You want to make sure your finances are in order so you can be able to get the things that you need, to just function in normal society. So we'll do that management as well. And I'm also looking into doing several social activities as well, sort of, where people can meet together in the center and basically talk about different issues and debates and games and other things, just sort of to build relationship, with one another, and just sort of have a good time. Something away from job, the whole job thing. So on the weekends we all get together and do social activities as well. So it's going to be, it'll be education, job training, debt management, and then social interactions and social activities. So about 4 different services I provide to help people with disabilities and make them more inclusive in society.
Moses Resource Center, dude. That is an interesting name. How'd you come up with the name?
Basically, yeah, it was interesting. I was having a session with some of my closest friends.
I was in that session.
Yeah, he was. And so we were talking about it and how we both felt actually going out on jobs where we were we're applying for jobs, on different social networking sites. I'll just throw one out there, Career Builder, because that's a popular one. We're applying, not getting anywhere, and then we just sort of, we're just wondering what's
And ironically, that's the best place, in my opinion, that's the best one to go to, because they actually do send your resume out there to people.
Exactly, exactly. That's the thing. I've applied for so many jobs on there, and you could apply for 100 jobs, and then you might get a response for maybe 1 or 2 of them, and then you go out there, and then you have the interview, and you talk to them, they'll call you, of course, and say they saw your resume, and then they'll set up a time for you to come in and meet with people. And then we go out there, put your best foot forward, you dress up, and then. But what I found is when we, as a disabled population, go on these interviews, everything's good over the phone. But as soon as you show up there, for some reason there's this look of shock or disbelief. Now I'm not really sure.
There's always a hey, how you doing?
Right.
Like there's always like a wow, we didn't expect you to be in a wheelchair
Right.
or on crutches.
Right. Like, oh wow, okay. And so then like they don't say it like up front, but you can tell that they are really uncomfortable when they see, that you have a disability. Now I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe they hadn't had people with disabilities in their family, or they're worrying about liability issues or what have you. But myself and my friend Chris have both experienced this look of total shock and total disbelief that the person they talk to on the phone has this physical disability. And so we go on the interview. Everything appears to be going great, but yeah, I know a lot of you out there have been in interviews where where excuse me, it seems like it's going great, but then after the interview, you know that you didn't get the job. You have a gut feeling that you didn't get the job. And so for a lot of disabled people, that happens quite often. Quite often, to the fact to where we feel like we are basically out on an island somewhere or in the forest, and all you hear are the crickets. You hear crickets, you hear the wild animals, and it's really it's depressing, to be honest with you.
Right.
Depressing when you're out there and you feel like you're by yourself and you're wondering, like, why is this? Like, what is it that sets me? I mean, just despite the fact that I have a disability, you know that you have stuff to offer to that company, but they don't want to give you that opportunity.
Right.
And that, if some people let it, and I have some friends that have really just had, have had depression issues, have had suicidal thoughts, and everything.
Well, it's frustrating, man, because it's like, okay, you go out there and you're looking, and you're just, because I don't know, you've been with DARS for 14 years.
About to be 15 now.
I stopped dealing with him just because of my situation with him. I stopped dealing with him years ago. So when I was looking for jobs, it was basically like myself. I was just out there looking for gigs. Right. And it was frustrating because it was like you go out on job interviews, and over the phone, like you said, everything is wonderful, right? And then when they see you, they're like, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" And then it's like, okay, and then they'll figure out any way possible not to hire you. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, man, and it's frustrating because you still got bills to pay, man. You still got bills to pay. You still got, in your case, you have children. Yeah. We both have student loans. Like, a lot of people think just because you have a disability, like, the world stops. And it's like, the world doesn't stop. Right. So the frustrating aspect, I've totally been there, man.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it doesn't stop. You still got things you got to do. Like you said, in my case, I have a family, and it's hard, not being able to support my family the way I want to. And then, now it's, around the holiday season, I can barely manage to get them, gifts and stuff. But, I do what I can. But still, it's just the fact of not having some stable employment, to be able to do what I need to do and pay my bills. And I just feel that if employers would give people with disabilities an opportunity, we could show how useful and what an impact we could make on that organization, what an asset we would be to that organization. But the thing is, you just got to give us that opportunity, and they just got to get over their preconceived notions and let us do what we can to better that organization, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying that it's kind of like we're in the wilderness?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what does the Moses aspect have to do with the wilderness?
So basically, so the whole wilderness thing, that was just my visual depiction of how disabled people are just out there.
So the resource center is like Moses guiding them,
leading their people out of the darkness and into the light.
Of lack of job opportunities, and lack of knowing where to go.
Not having a job, providing them that spark and that opportunity to better themselves. So that's what, Moses, the resource center, symbolizes, leading them out of that darkness and out of that not having a job, not being able to support themselves, having to live at home, with relatives because they can't live on their own because nobody will hire them.
Right.
And so that's what
And
that's
gainful
about.
employment being so important
So
to
important.
everything.
So important to everything. You know, gainful employment, you know, when you look at it, it solves a lot of things. You're able to get a place to stay. You can be able to pay your bills.
Hmm.
You can, you know, be able to buy clothes, buy food. You know, I mean, all that. The necessities basically having shelter, having clothing, and having food. You know, those three necessities, you can do that when you have gainful employment. And a lot of disabled people don't have that. Matter of fact, you know, the statistics on it, if they haven't grown bigger since last time I checked, was 70% of the disabled population are unemployed or underemployed. Now,
Right.
that was just a few years ago.
I think that was like in 2005.
Yeah, in 2005. So now, I mean, Lord knows, honestly, what it is now. Probably close to 90%.
And we're not even talking about, because both of us are African American, we're
Yeah, we're
not
not
even
even
talking
talking
about
about that.
race.
We're just
We're just
talking.
talking about like in general, like
Yeah.
that's what it is. And
Yeah.
they haven't even brought up like race yet. So
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah.
Okay, Kingsley, but let me play devil's advocate here, man. Like people would say, okay, you got you got DARS. What's so bad about DARS? You got all these government agencies trying to help. You know what I'm saying? Why is it important? You know what I'm saying? Why is gainful employment important when you got all these agencies to help?
Because, I mean, gainful employment is important because, I mean, you have these agencies, but the main goal should be to get people to where they're independent, where they can function on their own. So, what's the purpose of having an agency that might be able to help you go through school, or or pay for some bus passes, when the overriding goal should be, you know, at the end of it, are we able to get that person employed? And what I'm finding out about the Department of Rehabilitative Services is they can help you with all these other little services, maybe transportation, going to school, but that doesn't help you with the overriding main goal, which is becoming employed. Because when it gets to that point, and I use myself as an example, like I'm out there, I'm applying on my own, trying everything I can, and you know, when I go to them for assistance or guidance or help, or see if they maybe have some contacts, you know, to get me somewhere in my field, all I get from my counselors is, or like, well, we don't have anybody, we don't know where we can place you, we don't have any kind of contacts. Basically, they're just telling me, just keep on doing what you're doing. We can't really get you employed, although that's was supposed to be their goal, and that's what I was told, you know, from high school. Well, get with Department of Rehabilitative Services. They'll help you. They'll help, you know, get you, you know, you'll be able to, you know, finish school and then get you employed. But I've been with them 14, 15 years now, and they haven't been able to place me in my field. I have 2 degrees, so it's really not that hard. I have one in sociology, which, you know, it could be social work, case management, and I have one in criminal justice. So I have 2 different degrees, and they still, you know, have not been able to place me or assist me in getting gainful employment. So that's what's bad about the agency. You have an agency that's sucking up taxpayer money. They take taxpayer money. They take people that are working, you know, because I mean, I have work, but it hasn't been stable employment. They take my money, they take my friend Chris's money, they take all of our taxpayer dollars,
Hmm.
and they can't really do anything. They can't, you know, accomplish the goal of getting us employed. So what's the purpose of taking all our taxpayer dollars when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing? That's why I decided to go ahead and start Moses Resource Center, and you know, I'm trying to see what I can do to make it better because they're not doing it. Because, you know, having Department of Rehabilitative Services thinking that they're the go-to, because everybody says, well, that's the go-to agency. Really, they're not. They're not the go-to agency. I mean, they've been around for some time, but they haven't been able to do anything. Like for me, it's just been struggling, and a lot of us really, it's been tough. I've had several of my friends that, quite honestly, have been fed up with that agency. My friend Chris included, that have just, you know, just sort of thrown their hands
Yeah,
up
I
with it.
had a bad experience with them, very bad.
Right.
And when I tried to, that when I was in Chicago, I had a very bad experience with them. And when I came here, because of my career choice, they basically told me that they're not going to be able to place me. So, how would the employment services of Moses Resource Center differ from Department of Rehabilitation Services?
Well, our goal, I mean, we would focus on placement. I would, instruct a lot of my employment specialists to do, to do what they can to really do their research. Meet with these companies and really sit down with them and find a position. Try to find out what that company is needing and explain to them, in detail. Tell them about the client that they have. Tell them focus more on their skills, their abilities. Tell them, what they can do and what they've accomplished to get the employer to see that, just because they have a disability, they can be successful. So it's going to be more. These employment specialists are not just going to just look for, just go out there and just, look for a couple companies or look for a place like Walmart. No offense, not just go call up, Walmart and say, hey, I have a disabled individual. Can he be a greeter? Or, hey, I call up just...
Wow, they do that?
Yeah, they do. I had an employment specialist from from Department of Rehabilitative Services that my counselor had asked to help me, and all he found, that employment specialist that DARS was paying the taxpayer money, all he found me was one job at Walmart, and then another job was at an electronics store. And I have a degree.
So it's basically retail,
which is outside of my field, because he wouldn't even. I told him he saw my resume, what I had, but he still, for whatever reason, diverged from that and decided to put me in retail, which is outside of my field. So what makes Moses Resource Center different is I'm going to instruct a lot of my employment specialists to really focus on directing and making sure that the jobs and the companies that we talk with are in the field of that individual, where our focus is going to be 100% that. To the best of our ability, we're going to put them in their field to make sure that what their passion is, because when you're passionate about something and you're in your field, then it's not work. It's something that you enjoy.
Exactly.
And you can grow and you can be successful.
Exactly.
And that's what's going to be different. We're going to be 100% focused on that. And the people that I'm going to hire, are going to understand that, because I'm going to hire people just like my friend Chris here that's doing this podcast. I'm going to hire people that understand what it's like. And then, disabled or not, but I'm going to hire people. I'm going to make it a point even to hire people in my own agency that have disabilities.
I think the thing with the job placement is, from what we've noticed, because we've helped each other out because we've known each other for 12 years.
Right.
And I think what I noticed with just hearing stories with the Department of Rehabilitation Services and talking to former counselors, I think there's a disconnect with a lot of people, with a lot of counselors, to where they don't understand that the ultimate goal is to get employment. And the fact that, and I didn't even know this until you told me, where they outsource the job placement portion of their job.
Of their job, right.
Because it's their job. To to other employment specialists.
Right.
That was concerning to me, man. I was like, okay, so you're spending more of the taxpayers' money to outsource a part of the job that the counselor does.
Exactly.
I was like, wow. So, and I think, like, for us, we look out for each other. Like, I have a big thing about networking with, if you're disabled, you need to network with everybody, with other disabled people, to find information. So you're telling me with Moses Resource Center, there will already be companies. This is what happens when we do a live podcast and people don't turn their phone off. Nice. Are we good?
We're good.
All right. Hey,
Yeah.
it happens,
Bill
people.
collectors.
See, bills don't stop, disability or not.
There you go. Bill collector
So
calling me now.
you're saying that because I'm disenfranchised, man, and there are a lot of people that are disenfranchised with the government system. So you're saying that if I'm a graphic designer, and if I decide, hey, man, I'm gonna go to Moses Resource Center for some assistance, you would already have, or you would have your counselors, specifically look for me a graphic design position.
Exactly. I'd have like I said, I already have a network of me personally. I already have a network of close friends and a network of companies that I know already that are looking for people with some graphic design. People that know graphic design, and some of my other friends, marketing. I know some companies that are looking for some people that know marketing. So I have a list of people myself, and so I'm bringing other people in to assist me in making sure, like I said, that we can specifically focus on getting people with disabilities into the field that they have interest in, or they have experience, or they are wanting to get in. That's going to be their focus.
Okay.
100%. No excuses. No, well, we can't place you because of this. No excuses. The thing that makes my company different, and what I'm striving for, is to make sure that we deliver on what we say we're going to deliver. And that's why I've decided to do it. Because no organization, including Doris, to this point, has been able to do that. They always get you, off, out of your field. You don't enjoy doing it, and then you're just there for the paycheck.
Right.
But then what does that lead to? That leads to somebody that's not satisfied with their job, is not engaged in their job, and then if an opportunity presents itself, they're going to leave.
Right.
Then you have, turnover issues.
Right.
And
right.
I'll be the first to say, like, some of the jobs that I've had, that's exactly what I've gone through. Matter of fact, a few months ago, I had a job that I was on that, was just not just it was I couldn't support myself, for one.
Right.
So I had to make an
negative decision.
Yeah, an executive decision to go find something that I could really support myself in. So now I had to leave that job because I couldn't support myself with it, and I'm trying to find something that I can at least support myself and my family with.
Right.
Because that wasn't it, and that's a lot of things that the DARS, Department of Rehabilitative Services. Sorry, I used their acronym, but it's Department of Rehabilitative Services doesn't do. They're not able to, get you where you want to be, or get you in your field or what you have interest in.
Right.
And just to be clear, like I say DARS, or Department of Rehabilitative Services, but it's not just them. There are other agencies too, but I'm just sort of saying because that's the agency that I've been with, but it's not just them. So let's understand, I'm not like bashing them by no means. I'm just saying from my experience what it's been like for me, and just knowing that I see the statistics and I meet people personally on my travels.
The system is broken, man. Like, you and I have met people. I've met people too. I refuse to work with them. There are people that don't really have a choice in the matter.
Right.
And I see what you're doing. You're not, because quite honestly, man, we're disenfranchised, bro. Like,
exactly.
and we're not bashing them. Well,
no.
I'll bash them, but I know you're not.
No.
But,
Moses, let me just put that out there. Moses Resource Center, by no means, let me make that clear, is bashing the Department of Rehabilitative Services.
But you're offering an alternative to them.
Exactly. What Moses Resource Center seeks to do, and what the mission is to offer an alternative. We're by no means bashing them. Some people think they're great. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, to be honest with you. And myself, my friend included, and another friend I met on my travels, Jatarian, which you'll meet her shortly.
Yes.
She's really a talented individual. She's 19. I'm 33. She's 19. My friend Chris here is 32.
Yes.
So she's
basically us at 19.
Yeah, she's us
and there's
at 19.
The quiet anger as you so gracefully described her as having,
Exactly.
we've had at 19.
Yeah.
Because like we said earlier, it's frustrating. And when you're 19 and when you're in college and you're trying to work your way through school, I went through this a lot. It was really hard to, one, find jobs. And then it was like, I couldn't find a work-study gig. I
Right.
couldn't, like, I had to go work my way through school in college and stuff because I had, like, some academic troubles when I moved down here. So it was really hard to, like, get my feet under me. And we see a lot of that in her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of, I see the alternative, man. I see it's necessary. Well, Kingsley, it's been about a half an hour, man. How can they get in contact with Moses Resource Center?
Sure. They can get in contact through. I have I'll give you my email first of all. 'Cause I know some people like email. It's Moses, MOSES .resource.center@gmail.com. And then they could also get a hold of me on my phone, my direct line. It's 214-402-3991.
And is the website is coming. I'm developing that.
Yeah.
And we you do have a Twitter page, right?
The Twitter page is in development. It'll be up shortly. We're just making some tweaks. But then also we have a GoFundMe page because what I'm trying to do, this is like a grassroots effort. I'm not trying to take out any kind of loans or anything. I'm all trying to do this through like grassroots. And I have a GoFundMe page.
Crowdsourcing.
Yeah, ground source. Trying to do it from the ground up. So it's GoFundMe. There's a GoFundMe page which you can go to. I believe, can't they like type in my name or something and find it?
Yeah, or
if you
Moses Resource Center. You know what? At the description box, I'm gonna put the link to the GoFundMe page in the description panel, and I'm gonna share it on my Facebook page as well as his. So we're gonna get this going.
Yeah, and so please, if you can, I mean, I'd really appreciate anything you could give, just to help us in this effort. It's really, I think it's a monumental undertaking, but I know with people out there, and people that are passionate and understand, some of the issues that, some of the things that people go through and are understanding, I know that with y'all's assistance and help, this can really be a wonderful thing. So please, if you can, any amount of money that you can give would be greatly appreciated to help us in this effort. And just to give you an idea, I did have a list here of some of the services that we're going to be providing.
Yeah, go ahead and break that down, man.
I have basically right now it's like the one, it's four, like I mentioned. First one is going to be education, help people assistance with obtaining their GED. If they need to get their GED, because I know some disabled individuals that got frustrated in school and didn't quite get their GED. So that's of course, the foundation. We could assist with obtaining GED. Those that just want to go back to school and get learn a skill or learn a trade. We have technical/vocational training. Also scholarships available to pay for books and tuition if they meet certain requirements. Got job placement, including on-the-job coaching/training, organizational training, which is important on the job, making sure that you're able to be organized and have your workstation organized and able to be effective. Time management, skills training, being effective with your time, knowing how to use your time wisely and organize your task that you have to do, which goes into being effective with your time management skills, and cultivating an appropriate employment relationship. Basically, being able to, get along with your coworkers and sort of, be social, because a lot of growth on the job and a lot of networking also happens when you're on the job. Being able just to, socialize with your coworkers and, build relationships while you're on the job. We help with cultivation and all that, evaluating, and then important, which is big in my mind and big in a lot of disabled people's mind, is getting the appropriate accommodations you need on the job. because a lot of employers, I feel, and a lot of my people that I speak with, when they get on the job, they don't get the appropriate accommodations they need. One example might be like, they need a typing, like technology adaptation. Let's say like Dragon. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dragon. Maybe getting Dragon installed on a computer so that they're able to type more effectively, or get larger print, or get a larger work area in case they have a mobility aid like wheelchairs, crutches, scooters, so making it more accessible. Debt management, like I mentioned before, debt relief is real important because when they run background checks, they want to make sure that the person that they're hiring doesn't have outstanding debt, and they're able to. That just shows that they're financially responsible. So we help with debt relief, debt counseling, then budgeting 101. Because when you get a job, it's also important to be able to budget your money, know how to use it effectively so that you can pay for what you need to pay for, bills and other things have you. And then loan consolidation, which goes into all this debt management. Because a lot of us, we took out loans, to go to school because we were told from a very young age, like going to school is the way to go. We all went to school. I'm a prime example. Went to school, got my bachelor's degree, sociology again, got my master's in criminal justice, and I got student loans, unfortunately.
As do I.
And as does my friend Chris here. And I can't really pay them back because I'm looking for gainful employment, and these employers, like I said, for whatever reason, are hesitant to hire disabled people. So my organization is going to help with all these areas: education, job placement, including what I mentioned, debt management, and then also opening up like social, network and interaction. We're going to have like little groups and meetings where all of us get together and just like on the weekends, go out and have fun, do different recreational activities, and just get to bond with one another.
Right.
Because I think a lot of us need that. Because after you've worked, a 40-hour week, you just want to get together and hang out and go watch a movie and just do some cool stuff. So we're going to provide all these services in addition to that, and as the need develops, I'll probably add more services. So it's definitely something that I'm really excited about, and I know with y'all's help and y'all's financial support, this can be really awesome. And so I do again appreciate any little money or any kind of financial support you can give us. I think it's going to be a really awesome. It's a big undertaking, but I know it's going to be a blessing to a lot of people, and I look to really make a traumatic impact on people's lives. But I can't do that by myself. I'm going to need the support of you wonderful people out there, and so please do. The website, like we said, is about to be up. He's going to put a link on the GoFundMe page. Twitter page is coming up shortly.
His email, the phone number, and the GoFundMe page are the best ways right now to get in contact, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Best way to get in contact with me at this point. Okay. Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure, and like I said, I'm going to have a few more of my friends and actually people that I'm going to be employing in my agency be on here. Jatarian that we mentioned, she's going to be on here shortly to tell her story, because it's real important to me that a lot of the people I know and other people tell their story, so y'all can sort of see what it's like and what we go through on a daily basis.
Right.
So I look to have her on here shortly on Chris's Pushing While Black thing here, and have her tell her story. She's a really smart girl. She's has a degree in graphic design, and she's getting ready to go off to college, and exciting time. Hopefully she'll be able to find
to be 20 again.
To be 20 again, right, awesome time.
Right.
Yeah, awesome time. So,
well, man, because I know you gotta go. You got other stuff to do. It was a pleasure, man, and
pleasure's on mine. Pleasure's on mine.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to do it again.
Oh, definitely. We're definitely gonna. I'm an integral part of this. When you first told me about it, about Moses Resource Center, I was down for the cause, man. Just because it's needed. Right. Like, I really don't want to. Because I know former DARS counselors, and there are some people that really understand what they're supposed to do. But just from my experience, we're just so not... We can be done so much better than it is. And maybe it'll be... DARS will be better if
if they see that they have competition out there.
And it's not even really about that. It's kind of just like, I don't think they completely understand, what to do here. So we actually do. And I know you were mentioning and you wanted to hire people with disabilities, just because they understand a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be an integral part of my company, my organization.
Right.
Because they understand, I mean, it's going to be, disabled individuals, disabled vets, all that. Because I believe when you've been through it, you understand it.
Right.
But if you haven't been through it, then you have no clue.
Right.
You can sort of sympathize with what that person's going through, but you won't truly understand what it's like or what it feels like until you've been through it yourself.
Right.
You've lived it, you know what it's about.
Right.
And that's why it's important to me to make sure that I hire people with disabilities. And they are an integral part of helping other individuals with disabilities find gainful employment, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to make any kind of meaningful have any kind of meaningful contribution is if we all look out for each other and we all help each other.
Right.
Because nobody else is, to what I've seen and what my friend Chris here has seen, is doing that.
Right.
Organizations have tried, but they're not there yet. They're honestly not there.
Right.
And it's going to take somebody with a little bit more passion.
It's going to take a game changer.
Yeah, right.
Basically,
right.
This is a game-changing
right.
situation.
Right.
And sometimes it's good. Sometimes game-changing people and situations are good.
Yeah.
Like, to get out of the status quo.
Right.
Well, Kingsley, it's been a pleasure, man. We're going to end it now because it's been about 40 minutes. Right. So, man, we have the information, and hope all is well, man. And I will do whatever I can to make sure that this podcast and the mission gets out there, so we can get everything going.
Thank you. I really do.
This is Christian Dean from otherwise known as Pushing While Black, and my friend Kingsley Obach
from Moses Resource Center.
And we wish you a good farewell and happy holidays, everybody.
Right, definitely.
Later.
Later.